Good afternoon everyone, I'm Leslie Gregg from Swooper and welcome to this live stream. Today we're going to be talking about some ways that you can maximise the cash flow that you're receiving from your investment property. And we've got a special guest from BMT Tax Depreciation who'll be joining us shortly. But before we do, just a little bit of a message about Swooper. For those of you that don't know, Swooper is a property platform that has access to over 600 different developments across Australia, all new properties, apartments, townhouses and houses, so swooper.com.au. As part of this live stream, we're going to be inviting you as our viewers to add comments, and during the live stream we'll be getting back to you with answers to most of those, or afterwards we can contact you for a more lengthy discussion. So please don't be shy. On Facebook, if you could add your comments, let us know if you want us to repeat everything, or if you want to ask a question that's related, just jump on in the comments section and we'll come back to you as part of the live stream. So today we're at a site in Liverpool. It's in Liverpool Central, which is really, really well located. So we're going to be talking about this particular investment property a little bit later and giving you a tour just after we've spoken to BMT tax depreciation experts. So as part of this presentation, we'll be also sharing with you information on the first homeowner grants that you might be applicable to receive, and also stamp duty concessions. But we'll come back to those topics a little bit later when we take you through a tour of this beautiful apartment at Liverpool Central in Sydney. So if I could jump just now over to BMT Tax Depreciation Specialists, and we've got a gentleman by the name of Chris Pelagi. Chris is a Business Development Officer with BMT Tax Depreciation, and he's going to help us unlock some of the strategies and some tips that we can be using at tax time to maximise our cash flow from our investment properties. So Chris, are you there? Thank you so much for joining and good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Leslie. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
No problem. Welcome, and thank you again. So I've got a lot of questions. I'm an investment property owner, and I've got a few different properties in my portfolio. So I know a little bit about depreciation, but I know you're going to be able to give some excellent tips to me to help me really get, I guess, some more cash flow from my properties, I'm hoping. So I guess for people that might be looking to buy their first investment property, or perhaps are looking to maximise the depreciation they're receiving at the moment on their properties, let's start maybe with the basic question. So what's depreciation, Chris? Can you tell us a little bit about tax depreciation and what it actually means?
Sure, yeah. The basics, that's a good place to start because it's July now. People are starting to see their accountant, and first-time investors in particular are all of a sudden hearing about this depreciation thing that they've never once heard before in their life. And already this week I've had to deal with a handful of people who are in that boat. So the basics are fine. Tax depreciation, I liken it to if you own your own car but use it for business purposes and you claim on its wear and tear, that's seen as a loss and the ATO will give you a deduction there. Now, you would do that by logging its kilometres driven, etc. But with an apartment, you don't really drive it anywhere. How do you log that? And not only that, all of the things in the apartment behave differently. It's complicated. BMT, we're a quantity surveying firm. We estimate construction costs and asset values, and we're the ones who are able to chart that wear and tear. So it's the same principle, just a little bit more difficult, and so you need a professional organisation like us to provide that legal documentation that will allow you to make that claim.
Right, okay. So Chris, answer this question for me then. So that's been very helpful, and thank you for the explanation. So I read, I think on perhaps one of your resources, that up to 80% of investors aren't claiming their full tax deductions on their investment properties. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it's an obscure topic because, as we just said, a lot of people have never even heard of it. And not only that, there's a lot of, because there are a lot of sort of ifs and buts about it, laws change every few years, people get the wrong idea about it, and so they don't necessarily make the proper claim and not necessarily in the correct way. And it's important that they do make that claim as well, because it's, quite often the second biggest tax deduction that an investor will have after their interest repayments. And you want those tax deductions because they generate cash flow. With that cash flow, you can reinvest, you can service your loan, you can buy yourself something nice, whatever. But it's a good way of getting more money out of your property in the short term. And if you don't, take advantage of that, then you're really limiting yourself a little bit in terms of your future capabilities.
Absolutely. Thank you. I couldn't agree more, because look, especially in this climate where I guess some of us are, very cost conscious, and we're looking to save money to make the deductions that we absolutely can. I think it's really important. So I guess, again, if most property investors, like 80%, aren't maximising those depreciations, then this is a really simple strategy to, as you've said, pay down your mortgage quicker, get some cash potentially back at cash time tax time, to do that. And absolutely not a difficult thing to do either. So tell us a little bit about how we would actually, get the depreciation back. And I guess our accountant is the gateway to this. So tell us a little bit about, the accountant and BMT and how those things fit together, and how I can sort of make this happen.
Sure, yeah. I mean, another big misconception about depreciation is that people just assume that it's something that their accountant does. And in fact, the legislation is pretty explicit that when you have a situation where all of the construction costs aren't known, an accountant can't do it. And in a case like this, that's a perfect example, because you've got a purchase price. And that purchase price covers all sorts of things. And part of that is going to be a market value as well, which is not part of depreciation. So in actual fact, accountants are our biggest referring sector. The law says that they can't do it. They recognise that we can. And so accountants will quite often send people to us. Now, this is a way that you can sort of get in on the front foot, rather than waiting until you do your tax return in October, January, March, whenever. This is something that you can be prepared for that with by having the documentation there. Now, of course, we do work with accountants, and we would never, recommend you don't get advice from your accountant. In fact, quite the opposite. We want to consult with your accountant, and even before you get a depreciation schedule done, we can give you an estimate of what your likely deductions are. Now, the benefit is going to change from person to person, depending on your income, your taxation position, etc. But you can go to your accountant with our preliminary estimate and say, look, is this going to be a good idea for me? And usually the answer is a pretty resounding yes on that.
Yeah, I agree, actually, Chris, because certainly with my own accountant, one of the first things that they did was recommended that I go off and get a tax depreciation report. So, as part of their sort of annual tax review, they actually suggested I go off and get that. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but those reports, once you've got the report, that's going to last you for 40 years. So once you've invested in it, you've actually got a schedule potentially that you can be using every single year as part of your annual sort of tax return process.
That's correct, yeah. For a new property, for a little while it's going to be set and forget. You get it done at the start. It has a 40-year projection of your deductions, and it's simply a matter of consulting the relevant financial year in the document, putting in a figure or two, and that's your depreciation claim all sorted out. So it means that you are prepared for quite some time to come. You would only really need to come back to us for the same property if you're making a substantial upgrade to it, and for a new property, that's probably not going to be in the near future.
Oh, okay. So when you say upgrade, does that mean if I go and get a new kitchen built in 5 or 10 years' time, would that be an upgrade, Chris?
For sure, yeah. And I mean, that can be, it can be something as simple as new blinds, new carpet, what have you, but your depreciation claim will change when you add things to a property. And we can do an update to the report. Simple things like if you add an extra air conditioning unit or something like that, simple things like that, you can depreciate them on their own, but a depreciation schedule is a document it's not immutable, it can be changed over time. So, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's important, I guess, because if you're going to own a property for, you know, a 10 or 20 or 30 year period or even 40 years, then I guess in that time it's reasonable to expect that I might get new flooring or a new kitchen or something like that in that time, particularly if it's a rental investment. You know, things tire and they need to be replaced and upgraded.
That's correct. I mean, there are very few properties where over its 40-year lifespan you would not be making any changes there.
Absolutely. So I mentioned today we were at Liverpool Central. So this is a tower that has, or two towers actually, in Liverpool, in the centre of Liverpool. We've got 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments. As you can see, I'm sitting in the sort of the dining room or the kitchen in this apartment here today. So Chris, I thought I might ask you, look, if I was looking to purchase a property like this, what are the sorts of things that you think? I mean, I know that you know a little bit about this property. What are the thoughts of some of the things that you think would be tax deductible in this particular apartment?
Okay, well, the short answer to that is if you are using it as an investment from day one, everything. So it will be not only the structure, your floor, your walls, your ceiling, etc. It will also be things like cabinetry, your sinks, your tiling. Those are all structural claims, but you'll also have appliances, the oven, you know, the heating, air conditioning systems, floor coverings, curtains and blinds. All of those things will add up to your depreciation claim there. Now, we've looked over the plans for the different unit types and the specs for the fit out, and we've come up with a few, I guess, depreciation estimates there, if it's a good time to talk about those now.
Yeah, that'll be great. I can't wait to hear them, Chris. Yeah, please share them.
Okay, all right. So just looking at it, for a 1-bedroom unit there, and I will preface this by saying that this is for something that is purchased as an investment. If you are buying this, at least to begin with, as an owner-occupier, the claim will change due to certain laws being applicable. But let's look at this from the point of view as you know, an investment from day one. So you'll be able to claim on all of the fixtures and fittings and even a share of things in the common area of the building as well. So that's based on the strata unit entitlement there, so you get a percentage claim there. For a 1-bedder there, your first year claim is going to be somewhere between $9,000 and $11,000.
Wow.
So that immediately, for even the smallest unit there, is going to be a pretty substantial claim that will give you a bit of a boost when you do your tax return. Now, depreciation in general, for a bigger property, you will get a bigger deduction because, again, it relates to construction cost, and there's going to be more blinds in it, for example, more light fittings, i.e. more cost.
Right.
So if we go up to a 2-bedroom unit, your first year claim is going to be somewhere between about $11,500 and $14,000 in the first full financial year.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, for a 3-bedder, even better still, 14.5 up to about 17.5, even I think it maxed out our calculations at about $17,700 there in the first financial year. Now, those claims will get slightly smaller each year that you rent it out, but they will plateau out after about the sort of 10 to 15 year mark is when they're going to really sort of start to flatten out. But even then, you're going to be getting a substantial yearly claim on the structure of the building, and that's the part that lasts for 40 years.
Yes.
So if we go to the 1-bedder, that structural claim is still going to be about $4,200 to $5,100 in deductions per year for 40 years.
Okay.
The two better, about 6,200 up to about 7,600 per year, and the three better about 8.5 grand through to about 10.5 grand per year for 40 years. Now, if you are buying this, at least to start with, as an owner-occupier,
Yes.
what that will mean is that you can't claim on the fixtures and fittings, your floor coverings, window coverings, appliances, those sorts of easily removable items. But even when you move out, you will still be able to make that claim on the structure. And if the smallest possible claim on that structure is still going to be $4,200 in deductions per year for 40 years, that's an opportunity worth taking.
Absolutely. So let me just get this right. So we have a lot of buyers or potential buyers that we're talking to. They're really looking to try and capitalise on the first homeowner grants that are out there at the moment. So their view is sometimes, not always, but sometimes they want to secure a property that's under 600,000, so they can get their 10,000 first homeowner grant and their stamp duty concession, and they're looking to move into that apartment or home, and within this first 12 months that they live there for 6 months consecutively. So they need to do that obviously to qualify for the first homeowner grant. So if they do that and then they say, right, okay, well, I'm going to move out and I'm going to rent it out and it's going to become my investment property. So what you're saying is that that's going to affect the depreciation estimate that they'll be able to then claim when they turn it into an investment property. So they'll still get a really great return in terms of the tax depreciation, but it is going to be lower because they have actually bought it as their primary place of residence and lived in it initially for say 6 or 12 months.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, yeah, there will be, of course, a saving from any grants from moving in there, but conversely, you do get a little bit lower of a depreciation claim. Now that will really only have a substantial effect in the first 5 to 10 years of ownership, and beyond that point, you are probably going to be claiming the same as somebody who had it as an investment from the start anyway. So even though it is a smaller claim, it's still a substantial claim there. I mean, I'm looking at the figures here, and the minimum claim on the structure of the one-bedroom unit over the 40-year period is a cumulative tax deduction of about $168,000, $169,000, and that's the worst case scenario.
That's the worst case scenario. So that's over the lifetime of you owning and holding that property, isn't it? So, I mean, that's huge, isn't it? So, $190,000 over the lifetime.
Yeah. So it is still going to be a substantial claim. And look, these laws changed back in 2017. A lot of people were disappointed about it, but once they actually saw what they still could claim, well, it's not so bad. Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's a good point you raised. 2017, the tax law changed around this topic. So let's maybe just explore that a little bit. So I've, traditionally myself, I've bought, some resale or secondhand properties, and just hearing the figures that you're talking about now in terms of the potential, for tax write-off through depreciation, they're quite worlds apart in terms of what I can, potentially depreciate now on a resale property, compared to, the depreciation allowances of a new property. So, and the gap I've found is actually quite big. So, would you agree, Chris? Because I guess, resale means it's not new, you're buying it secondhand. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's often a case of having a good deduction versus an excellent deduction. Depreciating something from brand new and as an investment is always going to get the best case scenario, and particularly apartments, because of that common area that I was talking about before. That will give you I guess in terms of purchase price, comparably speaking, you'll get a higher deduction there on the newer apartments because of that, compared to, say, a house standing on its own, it's got no common area. You're probably not going to have a lift there, so, or underground parking, that sort of stuff. So yeah, newer properties will always get better depreciation. Another reason for that is because construction costs that we estimate have to be indexed to the year of construction. So an identical unit, even purchased new 10 years ago, would have a lower deduction than one purchased today. So does that more or less answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. It really does, and it even gives me food for thought, I think, and probably some of the people that are watching this afternoon, in terms of apartments versus houses. So it really is about the capital value of the construction, and for an apartment, including those common areas as well, which is a massive component when you're talking about elevators and things like that. So again, that thinking of buying a house versus buying an apartment, I think in order to make that decision, you've really got to factor in tax depreciation as well, because that actually is a big part of the cash flow, moving forward in terms of your investment. So it's not as cut and dry as saying, well, houses only or apartments only. You've actually got to sort of look at the site and then look at the depreciation and really factor that into your, I guess, your investment decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is definitely something that we recommend people do, is to, I guess our CEO likes to use the term crunch the numbers, get the depreciation estimate and make that part of your cash flow projections as well. I mean, we've got our own cash flow calculator that's free for everybody to use as well. And people, we're finding that people are increasingly savvy to depreciation and really want to know, after they make their purchase, what's going to be their bottom line after taxes. Yeah, depreciation is certainly not a deduction that should be overlooked for that.
Absolutely not. I mean, again, coming back to that first point, 80% of investors aren't taking advantage of the maximum tax deductions that they could, and this is one way to make sure that they're just getting a better outcome at tax time. So absolutely, totally support it, because it is money in your bank account after all. So I guess, just in sort of closing, I guess, Chris, so in terms of using BMT for your schedule, look, I know there's a lot of companies out there, just like there's a lot of properties to buy, but there's obviously, what are the sort of the main sort of reasons to use BMT? BMT to me as a property owner, I know that you're one of the biggest. I know that your brand is solid. But from your perspective, why should an investor be using BMT for their tax depreciation schedule?
A fair question. We've been going for around 23 years, and the amount of depreciation schedules we've completed in that time is close to 700,000.
Wow.
So that's a lot of experience, a lot of time and effort put into actually looking at every single property and working out, what is the highest possible claim that we can get on every construction type, on every asset there. So after that many depreciation schedules, I say without arrogance that we know our stuff. We have, I guess, our platform, My BMT, as well. So we allow you to manage our work online. We always send out depreciation schedules to people, and then a year later they're saying, I've lost my PDF, can you send it to me again? My BMT is in the cloud. You can, at the click of a button, see your depreciation results for any financial year. And there's other cash flow tools there, like the calculator I mentioned before. You can keep an eye on things. You can keep track of your expenses there. We've got other tools like planning application alerts and market reports, etc. So we're continually expanding our focus to be more than just a depreciation schedule provider and an actual investment tool. But I think probably the greatest reason of all is that we get those results. Every time the ATO releases its figures, we look at our claims for that year, our average depreciation claim for that year versus the average depreciation claim across Australia. And every year we are about $5 or $6 grand higher than the average claim there. And that's, there's a little bit of fluctuation there, but that remains more or less constant. And to my knowledge, not one other provider out there has been able to better us on that claim. So I do believe that, we would be, I guess, the provider to choose if you want to make the most money from your investment. That's the bottom line.
That's a good enough reason for me, Chris. Thank you so much. And that's huge, right? 5,000-6,000 a year, and you project that over every year. That's a massive amount of money that I'd rather have in my pocket than somewhere else. So absolutely, thank you so much, Chris. So look, we're going to wrap up this part of the live stream, and I'm going to step you through some reasons to invest in Liverpool, and I'm going to show everyone this particular property, and we'll do a walkthrough a little bit later. But Chris, look, thank you so much for joining. Look, just to wrap up, everyone out there, 80% of you investors are potentially missing out on thousands of dollars in property depreciation deductions. And you've just heard from Chris. Getting a depreciation claim through BMT will obviously give you the best possible chance of getting maximum cash flow from your investment property. In some states, I'll just add, and in Australia, it's actually common to have higher deductions from apartments when compared to houses. So it's important to look at the property. We're going to show you this one. It's a great investment in Liverpool. The pricing ranges from about $440,000 up to about $605,000 for some of the properties we've got here, 1, 2 and 3 bedrooms. And we'll be stepping you through the floor plans and showing you a little bit about the local areas and features for those of you that are looking to invest. But Chris, look, thank you again for joining us. It's been awesome. And for anyone that's left questions, hopefully we were able to answer those. But if not, we'll come back in contact with you. BMT have kindly extended a special offer in terms of anyone who's looking to get a depreciation schedule. So we are happy to provide details of that. Just send us a message on Facebook, and we'll come back to you with details. But Chris, look, thanks again. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll talk to you soon, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye, Chris. Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining again. We're here at Liverpool Central in Liverpool in Sydney, and we just had tax specialist or depreciation specialist BMT join us for the first part of our live stream. And one really great fact I think that I've been left with after that first part of the presentation was that as an investor you could qualify from between about $8,000 and $17,000 in tax deductions as a result of buying a new property at Liverpool Central, which is a huge amount of money for you at tax time. So just remember that when you're buying a new property like these apartments at Liverpool Central, you could be receiving tax deductions to those amounts depending on whether or not you're buying a 1, 2 or 3 bedroom. So that's absolutely awesome, especially in these times when we're all looking to, we're looking at our cash flow and we're looking to, to make our money work for us. So tax depreciation is obviously really important in terms of those tax strategies. So I'm now going to show us a little bit about, tell us a little bit about Liverpool and show us around the apartment that we're in this afternoon. So for those of you that don't know about Liverpool, and I'm going to sort of take you out into the balcony actually just to show you some of the local features and local facilities. So just come with me, and whilst I'm sort of walking over, I'll share with you that Liverpool is about 27 k's west or southwest of Sydney. It is actually Sydney's third CBD. So you've obviously got Sydney, the CBD, you've got Parramatta, and you've got Liverpool. So Liverpool is really shaping up to be the third CBD in the Greater Sydney area.
So it's a really important location, I think, to consider investment-wise. There's a growing number of really great facilities here as well. So if you're looking to live or commute from here to work, if you're looking for an investment property, Liverpool has a lot of really great features, I think, that are worth considering. So one of the first things is the location of this development, Liverpool Central. As I said, it's about 27 k's west of Sydney. I'm going to take you out onto the balcony here so you can see some of the features that I'm just about to show you. First thing is, I don't know if you can see it, it is a little far away, but I can see it from this balcony. But the CBD, obviously over to the east there. So from this particular apartment, we've got beautiful views, including a view of the city. Now, as I said, we're facing the east direction. Liverpool Central is actually located really well in terms of the facilities around it. We're actually about 5-10 minutes walk away from the Liverpool train station, just up the road from where you're looking at now. And directly across the road from these apartments, we've got the Sydney Southwest Private Hospital. So really close to hospitals, and also about a block away, you've got the Westfield Shopping Centre as well. So in actual fact, if you were living here, or if you had tenants that were renting a property like this, right at their doorstep they've got hospitals, they've got the Westfield Shopping Centre, and they've got the train station. So it's a really awesome location to live and also to invest. I really don't think you'd ever have any issue getting tenants here because of the location. It's just so well located. So that's the first thing. For those of you that don't know about Liverpool as well, as I said earlier, like, it is shaping up to be the third CBD of Sydney, and there is a major infrastructure plan, including the fact that the government is investing so much in terms of infrastructure into this area. The Badgerys Creek Airport, which will be Sydney's major second airport, all of the infrastructure related to that is well underway, and you'll see progressive development in this region up until 2025. So really it is a city that's changing, it's growing, the streetscape is changing, they're building apartments and hotels, new train connections, new transport connections, obviously a massive new airport as well to serve the whole of Sydney. So that's an international airport. So with that obviously comes jobs, comes people wanting to live and work in the area, and there's lots of information available online that will tell you about Liverpool as an epicentre for Sydney. So I can't sort of emphasise strongly enough how this location, and particularly Liverpool Central where we're located, is just superbly located in terms of train, shopping, hospitals, which are three key things that people are looking for when they're looking for a place to to live or to work or to commute from. So that's a little bit about the area. Again, university, so I did miss that one out. So the University of Western Sydney is about 20-25 minutes drive from here as well. So you're pretty close to a major university also. So that's another reason to potentially consider this as your next home. Government planning. I mentioned government planning earlier. So as I said, the government's got a master plan where really, in addition to the Badgerys Creek Airport, this whole area is being regenerated with hotels and high-rises and lots of different planning that's currently underway to really make this shape up to be, Sydney's third CBD. Over $2.5 billion is being injected into, building the Western Sydney Airport, and that'll be finished in the mid-2020s. So that's a huge infrastructure commitment from industry and from the government, and they wouldn't be doing that unless there was a good reason to do so. But that second major airport at Badgerys Creek is obviously one of the main infrastructure projects that's currently underway, and it's actually forecast to bring about 35,000 new jobs to the area as well by 2035. So again, more jobs means that people are going to need accommodation like this to live in. They're going to need facilities, shops, all those sorts of things. So with people comes a need for housing and demand. So that is a big catalyst for investment in the Liverpool region. So Liverpool Central, again, well placed right at the centre of Liverpool. in one of the fastest growing regions in New South Wales. It's a great opportunity for future development. You'll be buying in the epicentre in a region that the government is spending significant infrastructure dollars. So again, that's a really important consideration when you're looking at buying an investment property, is job creation. You know you're going to get tenants, you know you're going to get people renting the apartments, which is very reassuring as a property owner. So let's take a look around the apartment. When we were talking to BMT earlier, they told us that we could potentially get between about 7 and 17,000 in tax deductions, depending on whether it was a 1 or 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. So I'm just going to show you around this apartment. If anyone's on the live stream, if you want me to go back and show you a room again, if you've got any questions, let me know. I'm obviously in the kitchen and the dining room area, so we've got an open plan design for this apartment. Obviously the entranceway to my right, really good sized kitchen. Okay, so beautiful bench top. You've got double sinks here as well, so if you just want to take a look at the sinks there. You're provided with obviously the dishwasher. So that is a Bosch dishwasher as well, so very good quality of kitchen appliance. So that's provided, it's an integrated dishwasher. Okay, really good amount of cupboard space as well in these apartments. Okay, so, and on the left we've got some giant sort of cupboards here, some, pantries, good space for cups, plates, stove, gas stove in this apartment, oven. So some really nice spaces. Again, beautiful bench top, nice tiled splashback, and throughout the apartment you can see there's some beautiful wood flooring as well. So if you're looking at this for rental purposes, this is really good. Carpet, carpet's not my favourite, I have to say. So tiles or laminate or wooden flooring I think is ideal for investors. It's much easier to maintain, and it's just got a longer lifespan as well. So that stretches all the way through to the bedroom. So we'll just go through now and have a look at some of the other rooms so you can take a look at the space. So this is a 2-bedroom apartment. I'll start with the bathroom first. So if you want to have a peek in there and take a look at the bathroom. So this is a good sized bathroom. You've got quite a big basin area there, plenty of cupboards which have got lovely mirrors on them actually, so that gives a nice feeling of quite a big space. A frameless shower which looks nice and modern as well. So I think it's really well presented. What's really great about this apartment as well is that you've got a separate laundry area. So I've got some more cupboard space in here, and it is a separate laundry, so you can close that door if you've got some washing to do, and no one's going to see your mess, which is a nice thing. So I think that's really important. Close the door and all the dirty washing can stay behind there. If we want to come through into the bedroom now, we'll take a look at this one. So this one's got a queen size bed, so it is a good size. We've got a nice queen size bed with some side tables, and just to your left there, if we can pan around and have a look at the cupboard space as well. So a nice double cupboard. You've got glass on those doors as well, which brings a little more light. It's got the shelves in there, so it's really ready to go. Sometimes I find that some new apartments perhaps don't have the shelves, so that's a really nice extra. You've got the shelves as well as hangers for your clothes. You've got windows that stretch from the roof right down to the floor, so that lets in a lot of light, which is really nice as well. And I'll take you into the master. Now this is great because you've got plenty of cupboard space here. So if we take a quick look at that, we've got some shelving up the top and plenty of cupboard space there. Plus, apologies, a little bit of paperwork in this one, but you've got some extra shelving here. So Plenty of space both with the hangers and the shelves, and then these huge cupboards here as well for all of your clothes. So this is what I'd consider to be the master room. And if we want to take a look at the bedroom just to your left, again, we've got these beautiful windows, or in this case, sliding door that takes us out onto the balcony. This one's east facing. So as I said before, we could see the city from this balcony, but we've got a beautiful view from this balcony off the bedroom. Plenty of light, so ceiling to floor glass as well. So it's not a dark room. You're always going to have a great amount of light. Got a double bed in there with side tables. And again, with this cupboard space, you know, you've got plenty of room for a couple and, you know, their clothes both hanging up and in the cupboards here. We've also got an ensuite off the main bedroom. So if we just want to take a quick peek in there, and you'll see this one's also got a frameless glass shower. Lovely tiled shower and floor, plus again you've got the mirrored bathroom cabinets, and because this is the main, we've actually got 2 basins as well, so I can keep my makeup and things like that on the left hand side and not annoy my husband, and he can put his on the right hand side, so it's got a nice separation there. So again, this is a 2-bedroom apartment in Liverpool Central, and we heard earlier from BMT Tax Depreciation that an apartment like this, you know, you could be getting tax deductions of between $8,000 and say $13,000, you know, certainly in your first year of claiming. So that's a pretty good write-off in terms of your annual tax deduction. So this one's a 2-bedder. It comes with 1 car park as well. There's an underground car park with a storage cage. So that's completely secure. You know, you need a key fob to get entry, but you've also got street parking as well if you've got guests, and a visitor's car park as well downstairs in that undercover car park. So there's a variety of different apartments in this complex, you know, 1, 2 and 3 bedroom. 1 bedroom starting from about $450,000 right up to 3 bedrooms, and I think the most expensive one there is about $670,000 for the 3-bedder. Again, depreciation ranges from about $7,000 to about $17,000 per annum on those ones, so you get some tax offset when you're an investor. But really good pricing for something that's located in the centre of the CBD, in what is Sydney's 3rd CBD. So I'll just check and see if we've got any questions now from anyone that's online, because I'm happy to do another run through. So if you want to have a look at some of the rooms again, happy to take you, you know, for a little bit of a tour and show you some of the rooms again. So maybe if we go and have a look at the bathrooms again actually, and just give people another look at the bathrooms. So if I was looking at this apartment maybe for a rental, one of the things that's obviously quite good is obviously got 2 bedrooms, but you've got two full-size bathrooms. So, you know, depending on which room you're in, obviously, if you're in the master, you've got your own ensuite. But obviously, if you've got a second tenant that's leasing out this room, they've got their own bathroom, which again, so you've got enough space. You don't get one small bathroom and then, you know, and someone else gets the big one. So they're both sort of equal size. Plenty of light, lots of big glass there. You know, and the rental yield for something like this, 1-bedders are going to be around about $350 to $380 per week, depending on the apartment and where it's located. And if you're looking at, say, a 2-bedroom, you're probably going to look between $450 and about $510 per week rental return. So that's actually pretty good. And look, thank you very much, Jojo, for that question, because the rental yield of these apartments, I think, is actually quite strong. Now, one of the things that anyone who invests in Sydney would know is that Sydney typically, and generally speaking, has got a lower yield than some of the other key investment locations. And this is the reason why sometimes people look to regional or maybe other cities. But when we calculated the rental yield for this one, you're looking at 4.5 to say, 5% rental yield. And that's actually really, really strong. And certainly for Sydney. So again, just to sort of repeat those figures, For a one-bedroom apartment, you're probably looking at about $350 to $380 per week rent, depending on which apartment it is in the complex. And if it's a two-bedroom apartment, you're probably looking at between about $450 and say $510 per week. So really, really good rental yield. Again, typically the apartments here are a little bit more rental yield when you compare it to the average rental yield in Sydney. So I think it's a pretty good return actually, between about 4.5 and 5%. And as we heard earlier, once we add depreciation in, it's actually quite a strong rental yield for Sydney. Thanks, Jojo, again for your question. So we had a question in terms of this apartment. So this one, again, is a two-bedroom. So we've got a combined lounge, dining and kitchen opening up onto a beautiful balcony. This apartment's really lovely because it's east-facing. So you might not be able to see that on the camera, but you can see Centrepoint Tower and the city in the distance just a little bit to our left. So it's got quite a lovely outlook. It's not the best day today, it's a bit cloudy, but still it's a really beautiful light sort of apartment, and you've got a great view towards the east there and towards the city. So we're actually on level 11 in this complex as well. So there's two towers in Liverpool Central. This is Tower A, which is east facing, and Tower B just sits behind it. And we've got some sort of equivalent sort of west-facing apartments as well. There's a three-bed apartment actually which has a westerly view. It's on level 8 and it's got some great views as well. But this apartment, yeah, we're on level 11 looking in the easterly direction in this apartment. So this apartment, again, the prices vary depending on which apartment you're looking at. So this so a one-bedroom apartment, starting price is about $450,000, and they go up to around about $500,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. A two-bedroom apartment, you're looking at about $560,000 to $570,000 for a two-bedder, and we have a three-bedroom apartment that's, again, it's got a beautiful outlook. It's on level 8, and it's priced at about $670,000 as well. So but we do have some rebates on at the moment, exclusively through Swooper. So please send us a message, and we're happy to share with you details of some of the exclusive cash rebates that we've got for these apartments at the moment. And those cash rebates apply to the 1 and the 2 and the 3 bedroom, so selected 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments. So I'll just repeat that pricing. So one bedders are between about $450,000 and $500,000, two bedders between about $560,000 and $570,000, and three bedroom apartments around about $670,000. But that's list pricing, and we do have some exclusive Swooper rebates. So let us know, and we can obviously organise an inspection and let you know which apartments have got some of those rebates on them at the moment. So if you buy through Swooper, those cash rebates I was talking about really do range from, tens of thousands to, potentially sort of 40,000 in terms of cash rebates. So really, really worthwhile, checking them out, and we can let you know about, exactly how much cash rebate you can get on some of these apartments. And as I said earlier, whether it's a 1, a 2 or a 3 bedroom, we've got cash rebates applicable on some of these apartments at the moment. So they are brand new, ready to move into and ready to get tenants in. The building's already partially occupied, so we've got tenants and owners that have already moved into their apartments already. They have been in here for about 6 weeks, but obviously there's a handful of properties that are still available for sale. I'll take you through again and show you the apartment once more. So we're at Liverpool Central, for those of you that have just joined in Sydney, and we're about 27 k's west of Sydney. So Liverpool, for those of you that don't know, is Sydney's third CBD, and it's about 27 k's from the city, and it's one of the major areas that our government is investing billions of dollars into to redevelop. And part of that development includes creation of a new airport at Badgerys Creek. And that's involved obviously the airport, hotels, apartments, there's lots of townhouses, a lot of different development projects and infrastructure projects that the government and industry are supporting at the moment in Liverpool. Okay, over the next, sort of few years, the government has forecast that there will be job creation of at least 30,000 new jobs in Liverpool. So for me as a potential property buyer and investor, that's really good news, because it means that those 30,000 people are going to need homes to live, apartments to rent. So given that this is so close to public transport, so it's only 10 minutes walk from the train station, it's directly across the road from the hospital, and it's a block from the Westfield Shopping Centre. So given the apartment's proximity to all of that infrastructure, I think that this is an ideal place for someone to rent. You are really within walking distance of hospital, shops and train station. So that's exactly what renters are looking for when they're looking for their next home. They want convenience, and if you're commuting into the city, for instance, you've got a maximum of 10 minutes walk to the train station. It's got really easy connections to the M5 motorway, so you can get to the city in about 25-30 minutes on that motorway as well. So it's really well connected. It's actually not as far as people think. Actually, I drive here quite regularly, and it is actually quite a comfortable drive. It's not too far from the city. I think this is a great location. So again, for people that are looking to capitalise on those first homeowner grants, this would be an ideal property investment. You would potentially, as many of the people that I'm talking to, they're looking to buy their first property. It's not going to be their forever home, but maybe they're looking to buy something to put in their property portfolio, and again under that $600,000 mark. So that will get you into a 1 or a 2 bedroom apartment, brand new, so you don't have to worry about maintenance. You can then later move out and rent the apartment out, and as we heard earlier, get some really strong tax depreciation credits. So at tax time, potentially you could be receiving a tax rebate each year, because you've got this great apartment that is depreciating, and you're receiving rebates on your tax as a result of that. So I think, for me, looking at property, location, tick, infrastructure, tick. We've got billions of dollars that the government's investing in the area. And the third thing, I guess, is looking at the numbers, actually. So when I look at the numbers for this particular property, when I look at the rental return and the yield, again, you'll be getting about $350 to $380 per week for a 1 bedroom apartment, and you'll be getting about $450 to $5, maybe $510, depending on the 2 bedroom apartment and where it's located in the complex. And then for a 3 bedroom, maybe around about $520, $530 for a 3 bedroom apartment. So these are really good rental yields when you look at how much you're paying for these properties. So again, the numbers stack up really well when you're looking at these as like a Sydney investment. I think it's a great possibility for you as an investment property, even just looking at the numbers alone. So we've had some comments again. The wood flooring, yes, thank you very much for the comment. I think these are brilliant. Let's take another look at the flooring and maybe even the lounge room there, because that's a beautiful room. So the wood flooring, I think, is totally practical. Again, carpet's not my preference. There's some people probably on the live stream that like carpet. It's not my favourite. This is super easy to keep clean. It's got a really long lifespan as well. So, you don't have to worry about people spilling their coffee or their wine. The building's pet friendly as well. So if you've got a dog or a cat, this is really a sensible choice in terms of just keeping the space really clean and tidy. The strata, that's one thing actually I haven't spoken about, is the strata fees. So this apartment is located in a complex, as I said earlier, that's got 2 towers. So this is Tower A, and there's another tower behind it, Tower B. So the strata, as it always does, is scalable based on what type of apartment it is. So if it's a 1, 2 or 3 bedroom, so in proportion basically to the size and the price of the apartment. Okay, so your strata fees do vary. They're quite reasonable actually, because aside from elevators, you know, the major thing that you've got here, there's a little bit of landscaping between the 2 towers. There's no pool, there's no sauna, there's no spa or anything like that. So this has a lovely picnic area, some seating outside. So you've got the beautiful sort of nature strip between the 2 buildings with some seats, barbecue area. So a great area to relax. But again, there's no expensive sort of spa, sauna or anything like that that really pushes those body corporates up sometimes. So for a 1 bedroom, you're looking at about from say $630 up to maybe about, you know, say $900 for maybe a 2, even some of the small sort of 3 bedrooms. So $600 to $900 on the strata, again depending on the apartment. Look, I've seen a lot higher strata fees in some complexes, and some of those complexes, you know, may have lots of different, you know, facilities like the ones I mentioned earlier. So it just pushes the body corporate up. So again, if you're interested in finding out more about the pricing, please let me know. You know, the pricing varies based on the size. We do have some exclusive offers through Swooper, and happy to quote you and let you know what the apartment prices are, as well as give you access to some of those exclusive Swooper cashbacks. Okay, so just in closing, everyone, just want to say, look, thank you. You know, again, if anyone has some questions, I'm happy to take those now. If you want to have another walk around the apartment, I'm happy to take you around the apartment and show you some of the rooms again. And if you want to see perhaps the lobby as well, actually we can go downstairs and have a look, because I've shown you the apartment, but actually one of the other features of this apartment is the great lobby. It's got a really beautiful and impressive entrance. So actually what we might do, as I think we've still got a little bit of time on the live stream, is take you downstairs to show you the lobby and the garden area. So if you want to come with me, we'll just go to the elevator and we'll go downstairs and we'll have a look at the lobby and the garden area. So if you want to just follow me, and we'll go. There might be a short break as we get in the elevator, but just bear with us and we'll go downstairs and just give you a bit of a peek, sneak peek, and have a look at that entrance lobby that you'd be coming into, you know, from the street, and show you that outdoor area as well. So let's go, and I'll just take you on a little bit of a tour. Now just to show you the entrance. everyone, so we've just come downstairs now just to show you the entrance. So we're at the ground floor at the entrance of Liverpool Central. Come with me and I'm just going to show you the lobby and then I'll take you through to the outdoor area as well so you can see the beautiful garden area in the middle of the two towers. So this is your entrance lobby. So it's got a little bit of some plants and it's got a lovely nice open feel. There's some seating here as well. Pretty soon in the next couple of weeks as well, we will actually have a building manager here as well. So he will be seated here. So if there's parcels or if you need assistance, if you need help with any facilities locally, then the building manager will be located just here during business hours for you. So if you've got any issues, if you need help with something relating to the building, then he'll be available here on ground floor. But just moving into this area here. So this is building A, and across the other side of this walkway we've got building B, and in between both towers you've got a beautiful landscaped area outside. So for those of you that have got pets, for instance, or if you just want to enjoy some of the outdoors, it's a bit chilly today because it is winter and it's a bit overcast, but usually I think this would be a great place to relax as well. So if you want to get out of your apartment, you've got a beautiful landscaped area. You've got some bench seats as well, so it's both got grass as well as wooden areas as well, so wooden flooring. So you've got some great decking, chairs and gardens, and it's a pretty decent sized space as well. For those apartments that are located on the ground floor, then they've got some really great spacious courtyard areas. So you can see some of those in the distance now. Those ones have already had tenants move into them, but they have got a huge outdoor area as well and courtyard. But if you're on a higher floor, obviously, you're most welcome at any point to come down to ground floor to use this shared area, this grassed and decked area. Other than that, the only part of the complex we probably haven't shown you is the underground car park. So we're not going to do that today, but basically if you're looking at getting a 1 or a 2 bedroom apartment, you'll get 1 car space, and that's underground in our security car park. And if you're looking for a 3 bedroom apartment, those ones come with 2 car spaces. So they're directly downstairs underneath where we are at the moment. So again, this is Liverpool Central and my name's Leslie Gregg. It's been an absolute pleasure to present to you this afternoon. We've had BMT tax appreciation experts share with us some great tax tips that we can use at tax time to maximise the cash flow that we receive on property. And we've also seen a beautiful 2 bedroom apartment at Liverpool Central today as well. So I've taken you on that tour. We do have a selection of 1, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments available, so please send us a message if you'd like us to organise a tour, if you'd like some pricing, or if you'd like information on our exclusive cashbacks, then please get in contact with us on the Facebook live stream or jump onto our website as well, which is swooper.com.au. Again, swooper.com.au, and we'd be more than happy to send you some pricing and give you some details of these beautiful properties. So thank you very much once again for joining us. Can't wait to see you join the next live stream. Have a fantastic evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.